Good evening, welcome to the CDR round 12. Takes us to Austin, the Circuit of the Americas, where of course the real life Formula 1 World Championship are competing at. We are ready to go for qualifying one. We have 17 currently in the lobby, most of them being full-time drivers, a few of them just being last-minute reserves. I'm going to run down on who's filled in where. And of course, not every single seat has been filled, but we are hoping for some good on-track action tonight. And whilst we're waiting for the cars to go out on track, Scotty has a 54-point lead over MDG. 25 points for a race win, plus fastest lap. The top 15 score points. Finishers they are. So you need to obviously finish in order to get those points. Do apologise in terms of last week's connection failure, which prevented me from broadcasting the C1 race at Paul Ricard. But thankfully, the connection problems have been resolved, and we are ready to go for some action broadcast on the CDR YouTube channel. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and do feel free to get involved in the live chat. Just see that Flix has retired from the session. I don't know if he's on a qualifying ban or something. We'll find out as the session goes on. And see Mano heading out on track in the Aston Martin. Just looking at the race result of last week. And it was Dom Rabico who won his first race of the season. We've had multiple different race winners in the C1 category in the CDR this season. That just shows how tightly packed of a competition it has been. So with Flix already heading out of qualifying, with him retiring, there's one more place to be filled at the end of this session. Who will fill that? We'll find out as the session thickens. So it was Colin who won last week, with Scotty second and Dom Rabico third. So Colin, I think that is his first victory of the season. Scotty was second, which is good for him in the championship. Rabico third, Calvin fourth, Flix fifth, Dalgy sixth, Martin seventh, Grimjaw Jagger eighth, Bruges ninth, and Red Dog rounding out the top 10. And looking at those who have filled in tonight, we've seen that Sociopath has filled in for Colin, who won last week, so it's a shame we're not seeing Colin back in the car again. It'd be great if he was, though. At Alpine, you've got Stephen, who's filled in for Stig. I think those are the only ones, although Cameron Poulter is in there as well in the Aston Martin. I think he's in place of Ruben, who's not around this evening either. And I think that's all the reserve drivers that are being mentioned. So we go to Mano, who's on a flying lap in the Aston Martin. So Mano heading through these on-cambered corners, and then he'll go through the long stretch of 16, 17 and 18, and then two left-handers of 19 and 20 to conclude the track of the Circuit of the Americas. Mano over the line to post a 1:33.8. So sets the benchmark for the others to beat. Scotty's on a flying lap as well in the McLaren. He's going through the penultimate turn. I would expect him to displace Mano, given the pace we've seen from Scotty during the course of this season. And it's a 1:33.5 that puts him to the top. And then we've got Stephen in the Alpine coming through. 1:33.5 for him as well. And Charlie's lap has been invalidated. We'll go to Cameron as he makes his way through turn 19. Very nice through there. Nearly lost control of the Aston Martin on the exit, but caught it in time. 1:33.4 for him, and he goes to the top. So nice lap there from Poulter. There's MDG, who is in need of a good result this evening. Only 11th last week. It was at one point during the season, it was the championship leader. And he goes to the top on a 1:32.7. That's more of the time that we've been after from him. Red Dog in the AlphaTauri coming through next. Keeps his car within the chart limits, nearly exceeded it. 1:33.2 for him. So Red Dog, who finished 10th last week. Paul Ricard, second so far in Q1 in Austin. Sociopath just going through turn 12 in the Honda liveried Red Bull. So the reserve drivers this evening. We have seen Sociopath before. The last appearance he was involved in, he finished 12th. Picks up a fair chunk of points. And he's gone 6th fast 1:33.6, and Charlie has gone 8th on a 1:34.7. He did have to do that extra lap as well, which would have taken some life out of the tyres. Jay Hartnell in the Alfa Romeo on a flying lap. I'm just looking to see in terms of the incidents from last week, hence why Flix has got that qualifying ban, and it looks as though that Ruben has received a 2-race ban for the incident with Grimjaw Jagger of Paul Ricard. We'll run down on that a little bit later on, but he's been banned for the next 2 events, and he'll be on a qualifying ban for the next event he competes in. So I was right. So Flix received a full qualifying ban for the next race, which is here, hence why he's retired from the session straight away. And to take note as well is that Scotty and Noodles, Noodles and Colin have received Q3 bans for impeding Scotty on a hot lap. So Jay Hartnell's gone 7th fastest on a 1:33.6. Dalji next in the Mercedes. $1:33.6 for Dalji. He goes to 6th fastest. See Martin making his way out on track now. Here's Calvin. We expect him to be in the running for the victory tonight. Calvin, who currently sits 12th on 31 points. We don't have too many races to go after this one. After Austin, we go to Portimao, and then to Mexico City, and then conclude the season at Interlagos, unless Abu Dhabi decides to be rescheduled because of the connection issues we had when we were competing in Abu Dhabi about a month or so ago. Kelvin goes to the top of the timing pages on a 1 minute 32.1. Grimjaw's just started a flying lap. Someone's gone over the line to improve, and that may have been Jay Hartnell actually. He improved by a couple of tenths. So he goes up to 5th with the lap he has produced. Dalgi's improving, well, ever so slightly by sector 2. We'll stay with him as he's the next driver to cross over the line. And he's exceeded track limits there, so he may as well make his way back into the pits. We've got an Aston Martin on a flying lap, I believe. That is Mano. Eight tenths up from before by sector 2. It's looking very, very good for a lap which will dip into the 1 minute 32s, and someone's just backing off on the back straight there, so just ignore that yellow flag. Mano coming through. Rear wing open, and it's a 1:32.7. It's a nice lap that from Mano. He goes into the top 3, just a couple of thousandths actually off MDG's time. There's Martin, who's just going through sector 1. It's a 25.3. He's posted. Stephen is on a better lap than before. Keeps his car just inside the track limits. Stephen over the line for Alpine, 1:32.7, and he goes 5th with that time. Grimjaw is now 2nd on a 1:32.5, whilst we were watching the Alpine driver. Droftis is on the flying lap in the AlphaTauri. Hamster's just started the flying lap now. Martin will be the next driver over the line. Got over 6 minutes to go in this Q1 session. Flicks won't be going out on track, so he's out of qualifying. Just one more place to be decided. Martin hopes not to be that driver. So 1:33.0. We'll go to the Aston Martin. Is that Mano? Yeah, it is, but he's not on a fast lap. So we go to Droftis, who's on the mediums. Coming out of the final corner, Droftis keeps his car within the limits, only just out. 8 fastest on the mediums with a 1:33.3. There's Don Rabico coming through in the Red Bull. 1:32.4, and he goes 2nd. So it's a decent lap time there, carrying on the form from what he had at Paul Ricard. So only Hamster has yet to post a lap time, apart from Flicks, of course. And Stephen has decided to retire from the session. He's retired in the pits, not on circuit. Hamster goes over the line. Only 15th though, 1:34.0 only for him. So there's definitely a lot of time to be found. Charlie's gone for another time lap. He's in the drop zone. And Scotty only 12th as well in the McLaren. So Scotty over the line, rear wing open. He only improves by a couple of hundredths and remains in P12. Sociopath is going through. There's an AlphaTauri behind him, not on a fast lap. John Robico is not on the fastest lap either. Poulter's lap has been invalidated, so we'll go to the Ferraris next. Hamster first, who was nearly 2 tenths up from before by Sector 1. How much time is he finding by Sector 2 here? Nearly 6 tenths, so this is more like it actually from Hamster. Charlie, nearly 3 tenths up from before. So I think Charlie may end up staying in the drop zone despite the lap he's on. And Hamster's exceeded track limits, so Hamster will have to go again. Charlie carries on though on the lap he's about to put in. Over the line, and Charlie goes 15th fastest on the 1:33.8. He improved by over 4 tenths, and that has pushed his teammate into the drop zone. Here's Scotty in the McLaren. Looking good at the moment for a better lap here, is he? No, he's ducking into the pits. So we'll go to Dalgy next, who's currently in P13. Can he display Scotty and move himself maybe into the top 10 here? He does go into the top 10. 10th it is on a 1:33.4. Now, Sociopath is 400ths down from before by Sector 2, but this is still a fairly decent lap where you can find some time in the last sector. There's a total of 8 corners in Sector 3, which is the most of all the sectors on this track. Sociopath over the line, he does not improve. Only 14th. So Charlie's on the brink at the moment in 15th place. And Robico goes to the top on a 1:32.0. Drofter's going for another timed lap. I reckon Dalgy will head back to the pits at the end of this one. Sociopath is off the pace on this lap. And Charlie decides he's coming back into the pits, but he's not going to have time to get round to the checker flag. So it's all down to Hamster, really. Could well be either him. It's going to be either him or Charlie that drops out of qualifying. Hamster will get round before the checker flag falls. So Hamster, eager to get on with this, really. The next car ahead of him is only just going through turn 12 now, so this is a clean lap they will get. You can see Sociopath, I think, has gone for one last attempt on his old set of softs. Now the checker flag will come out, but I think Scotty will get round to the checker flag before, will get over the line before the flag falls. He did so just in time. Hamster is on a decent lap so far. He's nearly 4 tenths up from before. So he's potentially going to end up in 14th position. Maybe even higher than that. And the Aston Martin's made a mistake. That'll be Cameron Poulter, but he's very much safe now into Q2, no question. It'll be one of the Ferraris. Jordan flicks on the side. As you can see how much time Hamster's gained on this lap already. Nearly 1.2 seconds. So he's potentially going to end up in the 1:32s. You can see how the track is picking up now. Hamster keeps his car within the track limits. doesn't need to take too many risks here now. He just needs to get the car over the line without any trouble. 1:32.4, and Charlie is out of qualifying along with Flicks. Hamster goes up to P3 with 1:32.4. Sosipov improved his time by a couple of tenths. He goes up to 14th. And Droftus goes into the pit lane. Scott is the last one who's on a flying lap. 3 tenths up from before by sector 2. Coming out of the last corner now. Rear wing open. Scotty goes up to P11. And that brings qualifying 1 to a close. So at the end of that session, Don Rabico was fastest by a tenth over Calvin. The 2 drivers we lose at the end of Q1 are Charlie and Flicks. The top 15 go through to Q2. We'll be right back very shortly. Here we go then for Q2. I'd expect to see some drivers heading out on the set of mediums. You can see an AlphaTauri and an Aston Martin heading out, and one of the McLarens doing so likewise. Looks like Red Dog's on the mediums. And looks like Mano is also on the mediums, as is Scotty. Stephen also heading out on track. And Dalgi's on the soft compounds. All the others that are on track are on mediums. So you're going to see a mix, I reckon. MDG is also on a set of mediums. And the other Aston Martin of Cameron is going out on a set of mediums. So we should be expecting Dalgi to be amongst those at the top by the time he completes his first flying lap of Q2. Is there anyone else deciding to go out now, or they're going to wait a little bit? So out of the 15 drivers, we've got 7 of them on circuit. Red Dog is one of them. You can see one of the Rebels heading out on track now. I don't know who that one is. Hopefully it won't intervene with the laps that these are on now. As Red Dog goes through, I think that may be Don Rabico, who's on track. Let's just let in Aston Martin and the McLaren of Scotty go through. So it's a 25.5 by Sector 1 for Red Dog. Seen a few more drivers heading out on the track now. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Jay Hartnell, I believe, or is it Martin? It's Martin actually, and then the other Red Bull of Sociopath heading out on track, and the McLaren of Grimjaw and the other Alfa Romeo of Jay Hartnell. So only 3 drivers stuck in the pits at the moment, or 2 drivers stuck in the pits. They are Calvin and Hamster. Now, we didn't see Red Dog's Sector 2 time, but I imagine the time he's going to produce here is going to be around in the 1:33s. We nearly dropped it on the exit of turn 19, but gathered it up in time. This is a slow lap, actually, from Red Dog, and it goes to the top for now, but we've got to see some times tumble down. 1:33.5 for Mano. Scotty with a 1:35.1. That's poor there from Scotty. So Don Rabico's just beginning a fast lap now. Stephen comes over the line for Alpine. 1:34.3 for him. We should see Dalgy go to the top here with this one, I think. 1:33.3, although it's not as quick as we were expecting him to do on that particular compound. It looks like MDG has gone second fastest on a 1:33.3. So MDG's fastest out of all those on the mediums so far. Cameron goes off track and exceeds track limits. And he'll probably have... No, you can't do that, mate. You'll have to go round. Yeah, so Cameron, I think not only exceeded track limits there, but not only did that ruin the lap he was going to complete, but the next one as well. We go to... Grimjaw's just actually starting the lap now, so the next one behind him will be Jay Hunnell, who's just about to start a lap. Calvin's out on circuit as well, so only Hamster is stuck in the pits. .1:34.8 for Scotty, only 5th for him. He did improve though on his time. Don Robico goes 3rd on a 1:33.3. And we'll go to the AlphaTauri of Droftus, who is on a set of the soft compounds. So I'd expect him to go faster than Dalgy. That's a very good time, 1:31.5 for Droftus. That should safely secure his place in Q3. Sociopath is next. On the soft compounds. It's not a very quick one here though. 1:34.2 for Sociopath. Jay Hartnell, rear wing open, 1:34.7. And Grimjaw on an invalidated lap, so that won't be seen him improve a time on that. So Calvin has run wide there at the S's. 25.3 by sector 1, but that's so easy, could have been an instant invalidation on his lap. Is there anyone improving their time? Well, Scotty's just posted a 1:34.8 and he only goes 9th with that. Martin coming through sector 2. He's on a more representative lap time. He's got a Red Bull behind him, who I believe is on a fast lap. No, it's not. So Martin will go through the last couple of corners here, providing he keeps his car within the track limits. And it's going to be a 1:33.8. So Martin goes P6 with that effort. Calvin crosses over the line, 1:33.4, and he goes up to P2. So he's the fastest out of all those on the mediums. Grimjaw has invalidated his lap time yet again, and so he will have to wait a little bit longer. He just waits a little bit before he goes again. I have to say, Scotty's also in the drop zone there, so that'll be him in danger of being knocked out in the second part of qualifying. The man who is leading the championship. By 54 points over MDG, who's currently 4th on the timing pages. We'll go to Hamster, who I don't expect to see him in Q3. Crosses over the line now for Ferrari, 1:33.9. He goes P8 with that. That's a good effort from Hamster on the mediums. And there's no one else on flying laps right now. So the drivers in the bottom 5, they are Jay Hartnell, Scotty, Red Dog, Cameron Poulter and Grimjaw. Droftus has already retired from the session, so he's confident that his place in Q3 is secure. I think with that 1:31.5, it should be enough to see him through. So Martin heading back to the pits, albeit crashing into the pit wall, which could have easily have ended his session on the spot. He was able to get back into the pits in time and get a new front wing on. I think Hamster's still going on another fast lap in the Ferrari, actually, so we'll keep an eye out on him. So here's Hamster. He lost it a little bit coming out of turn 13 as he was getting the power down, so he may have lost a little bit of time on the exit. 1:33.9 it is for him to beat, but I don't think he's going to beat that, actually. No, he's still some time away, so he remains in P8. That's a shame there for Hamster. Red Dog has just started what could well be his last timed lap. He's currently in 13th on a 1:35.0. Target lap he's looking for is a 1:34.3, which would potentially displace Stephen, but Red Dog will want to ideally be in the 1:33s anyway. He's 3/10 up from before. 3 set to 1. Play set on the mediums. So Red Dog in the AlphaTauri. Going towards turn 12. And it's nearly half a second up from before, which would not be enough at the moment, I don't think. That would see him out of the drop zone. Just over 3 minutes to go in qualifying in Austin, located in the state of Texas. Red Dog exiting the last corner. It's a 1:33.2, and he did find a lot of time in the last sector, actually, so he goes up into second place. Poulter backing off on his lap, and he will go again here in the Aston Martin. Mano is on an out lap. Sociopath is just backed off because his lap time's been invalidated, so he's just allowed Softy to go through, who's now in 13th position. And Scotty 6/10 up from before through sector 2. And 1:33 is what he's going for here. Grimjaw is also out on circuit in the other McLaren. He's on the soft compound now. So Scotty over the line for McLaren. P7 he goes up to. Pushes Sociopath into the drop zone as he starts another flying lap. Here's Grimjaw, currently in P15 with no time on the board. Goes up to P2 with a 1 minute 32.2. This is a very good time there from Grimjaw. He is safely through into Q3. Here's Poulter, who is yet to get a lap on the board in the Aston Martin. Going through turn 19, he's missed the apex completely. It should be a 1 minute 34, is it? It is a 1 minute 34, but it's the slowest of all the times. He lost too much time in the last sector. So he's going to go again, but this will be his last chance. Sociopath is improving by 4/10 from before through sector 1 alone. What's this time going to be for him here by sector 2? 7/10 up over the course of the lap. Hartnell's just started the flying lap. Mano is coming over the line now. Currently in P9. He goes up to P3 with that nice lap there from Mano. Sociopath. Over the line he comes. Up to P6. That pushes Martin into the drop zone with Hamster, Stephen, Jay Hartnell and Poulter. And Scotty over the line to start a flying lap, does he? Oh, I think he's just missed the checker flag. So Scotty very much on the cusp of once again being knocked out in Q2. Cameron's lap time's been invalidated as well, so he's out of qualifying. Stephen is also out of qualifying. He's stuck in the pits anyway. So at the moment, Hamster and Jay Hartnell are in the drop zones, but they are improving massively. So one other driver who could be in danger is Rabico. Although he is improving in the Red Bull, but MDG is stuck in the pit lane at the moment. He's stuck in the garage, so it could well be that Jay Hartnell, Martin and Hamster could push Scotty and MDG out here. Jay Hartnell goes 4th with 1:33.0. We'll go to Don Rabico, who's just gone 2nd fastest. And Cameron Poulter has crashed out. We'll go to Martin next. He goes over the line. It's a 1 minute 32.5. So MDG has been pushed out. Now the driver at risk is Dalji in the Mercedes as Hamster nearly missing the apex there. Hamster does not get impeded by Mano by the looks of things. He goes up to P2. Excellent time there from Hamster. So that pushes Dalji out of qualifying, does it? Yep, he's on a flying lap, but he's backed out of it anyway. Sociopath coming back into the pits, securing the knowledge that he's safe. So only one driver getting through to Q3 on the mediums. That was Calvin in the Alpine, who ended up 9th fastest. So the 5 drivers we lose at the end of Q2. They are Dalji in the Mercedes, MDG in the Haas, Scotty, the championship leader, in the McLaren, Stephen in the Alpine, and Cameron Poulter in the Aston Martin. So Dalji makes his way back into the pit lane, and we should wait for the Q2 results to appear on the screen, the final classification of Q2, before we go on to Q3. So confirmation of those who are out. They are Dalji, MDG, Scotty, Stephen and Poulter. The top 10 go through to Q3 to battle it out for pole position. Who will line up where? Find out in a few moments' time. Welcome back. And looking at the championship standings with a gap of 54 points, if we're not going to Abu Dhabi or rescheduling a round, Scotty could mathematically win the championship, but he would need to be at the very minimum 79 points clear of everyone else by the end of tonight's round, which is highly unlikely that that's going to be the outcome. And start to see some cars on circuit. As you can see, Red Dog going through, and 7 drivers are out on track. We'll make that 8 because one of the Alfa Romeos is coming out. Red Dog just getting some temperature into his Pirelli softs. So Red Dog crosses over the line to start his first time lap in Q3. There's the apex through turn 1. Okay, through turn 2. No problems, a sweeping right-hander anyway. Then we've got this slalom section. Very easy to catch drivers out via track limits. 25.1 through sector 1 for Red Dog. Droftus' sector 1 time was a 24.9, so Droftus is 0.2 faster than sector 1 alone. Rearing open on Red Dog's car. Coming into sector 2 now, and Red Dog has exceeded track limits unfortunately, so that's his lap over. And Droftus amazingly did not exceed track limits at turn 12. You see Red Dog moving out of the way. Droftus over the line, 1:31.5 for him. That's a good time, similar to what he set in Q2. And we've got the Alpine of Calvin next over the line, 1:32.0, so nearly half a second off the pace. Hamster goes third on a 1:32.8. And then we've got the Red Bull of Don Rabico going to the front row provisionally, 1:31.7. And we've got Martin in the Alfa Romeo. He goes up to P4 on a 1:32.5. The Aston Martin of Mano has exceeded track limits. So we'll go to Grimjaw next. He goes up to P4 with a 1:32.2. So at the moment it's Droftus who's fastest by 0.2 of a second. Red Dog and Mano have gone on for another lap actually, because they exceeded track limits on their first timed efforts. I'm just waiting for Jay Hartnell and Sociopath to make their way out onto the track now. Surely they want to be going out now if one is with you with that gap in the traffic. Or maybe it could be that they're just going for one run. So Red Dog coming through turn 19. How far is he going to be off his teammate? I doubt he's going to be on pole here. He's a long way off him, actually. Only 7 fastest on the 1:33.3. Here's Mano in the Aston Martin. Coming towards turn 15 now. Mano going through. 1:32.2, only good enough for 5th fastest at the present moment. So at the moment, Joftis is fastest, with Rabico second, followed by Calvin, M. Grimshaw, Mano, Martin, Hamster, and Red Dog are next behind, with J. Hard and Sociopath yet to get a lap on the board at the moment. And Dom Rabico is 0.2 of a second down from what he posted before. Let's see how he gets on in the remainder of the lap. If it doesn't look like he's going to improve his time after he goes through sector 2, he'll probably just duck into the pits at the end of this lap. And he's less than a 10th away, so he'll probably remain committed to the lap and see how close he can get to Joftis. Takes a tight line into 15 though, which is not a good line they took there, so I think this is going to be him going back into the pits, to be honest with you. Yeah, he's backed out of it. So Rabico makes his way back to the pits. So Sociopath has just gone out on track now. Calvin just wants a clear track ahead of him. I don't know for certain if he will do though, because he's only on the back straight now, and his car's stuck in the pits. And there's Mano crawling his way back to the pit lane. So Calvin, he's going to try and go for a win here. Over the line, he starts his final attempt. Calvin, who has yet to take a victory this season since his late arrival in the championship. I think it was in Sochi where he made his debut. He's backed out of this lap, actually. He's made a mistake somewhere. We'll go to Sociopath then, who's the next to start a flying lap. Less than 3 minutes to go now. Driver's contemplating as to when to head out on track. Well, we know that Rabico's session is over, so he's not going to be taking pole position. 25.2 by sector 1 for Sociopath. And Grimshaw also deciding to not go out. Sociopath got poor wheel spin out, actually. You've got lost time on the back straight, which won't be good for him. I think he'll be looking to just displace Red Dog with this lap. It should be a 1 minute. No, it's a 1 minute 3.0 by sector 2. So 2 minutes remain. And Calvin's made his way back into the pit lane, so that'll be his session over. Hamster's just gone out on track now in the Ferrari. Here's Sociopath crossing over the line. 1:33.3, only 8 fastest for him. And Calvin's retired from the session as well. Jay Hartnell starting his lap now. Red Dog has exceeded track limits on his latest lap, so he'll have to go again. He's got enough time to get round before the checker flag falls. Jay Hartnell has started his last attempt in the Alfa Romeo, so he needs to make this count. Probably in the low 25s for Sector 1. 25.1, which isn't too bad. He's had a good qualifying session so far, has Jay Hartnell. It's been better than average in all the races which I've seen him compete. And Sociopath, he's on another flying lap by the looks of things, so I'm just looking to see if he's improving by Sector 2. He's actually improving by a quarter of a second, so he's on course to improve his time, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to displace anyone above him. Red Dog is on a faster lap time he's set earlier on, so we'll go to him soon. So Sociopath coming into the last corner now. Where is this going to put him? Over the line, 1 minute 33.0, but he stays in 8th place. Jay Hartnell next behind. This lap is only good enough for P9, so he'll be disappointed with that. And Red Dog is next in the AlphaTauri, 3/10 up from before by this stage of the lap. Through Sector 2. Martin's right behind him as well. Don't know if he's on an improvement. He is by 3/10, so Martin could be in for a second row start here if he keeps it up. Red Dog is just trying to move up the order as much as he can. Is he finding enough time though? He's coming out of the last corner now. That's poor exit, to be honest with you, but it's good enough for P7. Martin's exceeded track limits, so he's not going to be improving. Droftus is next in the AlphaTauri, looking good for provisional pole, for pole position to say, but just to make sure, he betters his time by around about half a tenth. Mano next in the Aston Martin does not improve his time, so he remains in P5. Sociopath has backed off on this lap. So it's Droftus who is on pole position for the US Grand Prix in the C1 category in the CDR. Very well done to him. He's already won here before. Last season, I think it was, when he was a Ferrari driver. He's looking on course to repeat the feat tonight in the AlphaTauri. So we're just waiting for the session to end, and Droftus will be a very happy man to line up where he is on the grid. So Droftus is on pole position with Rabico alongside them. We've got Calvin and Grimjaw on the second row. Mano and Martin make up row 3, ahead of Red Dog and Hamster, with Sociopath and Jay Hartnell running up the top 10. That was qualifying. We go on to the race. We'll be back very, very shortly for it. We are ready for the formation lap for the start of this US Grand Prix. 28 laps it will be. And we'll run down on the grid and who is starting on what compound. So, not too much in variety. Calvin, MDG, Scotty and Flicks are starting on the mediums. The rest are all on the softs. So Joftis on pole with Rabico second. It's Calvin in third ahead of Grimjaw. Manu, Martin are next with Red Dog and Hamster on the fourth row. Sociopath and Jay Hartnell round out your top 10. Dalji and MDG are next. Scotty, the championship leader, line up 13th ahead of Stephen. Poulter and Charlie are next behind with Flicks in 17th and last position. So just the 17 we've got for tonight. We don't know where the others are, but it's still a fair number of drivers involved in this evening. Hopefully the numbers will go back up to a full grid next time out in Portimao, I believe it is, that we go to next. It is Portimao next week, and then we go to Mexico City and Brazil. So, 4 races to go in this one, including this one. For Scotty to win the championship, he would need to lead by at least 79 points to wrap up the title. So by doing that, he would ideally need to win, and for MTG not to score. But that's very, very unlikely, but it's possible. Joftis is just focusing and getting his car ready for the race. The man who's in place of Noodles tonight. So Joftis will be focusing on the lights ahead. Do keep an eye out on Grimjaw as well. He could pose a threat up front. He's 62 points off the championship lead as well, so he could be in need of a strong result tonight. Just keep his slim hopes in the championship going. So 17 drivers are coming back onto the grid now, and we are ready to go for the start of this Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas, that made its debut on the F1 calendar back in 2012. So the drivers are in position. We are raring to go. 5 red lights will appear in front of the drivers. When they go out, we'll be racing here in Austin. It's lights out, and away we go. Joftis gets off the line very well, as does Rebico. Just looking to see if Kelvin can fend off the McLaren of Grimjaw behind. Does he do it? No, he can't. Grimjaw gets through to third place. There's a bit of contact there. Kelvin goes off track and rejoins in front of the Aston Martin of Mano. So Joftis leads coming into the S's ahead of Rabico and Grimjaw and Calvin in fourth place. We've got cars almost going side by side, but going single file eventually through the slalom section. And everyone seems to behave themselves throughout the first lap of this Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas. Joftis in front and pulling away from Rabico, with Grimjaw getting the jump on Calvin, which was exactly what he needed in order to be challenging the leaders. There is Mano in fifth place. There's someone going off in sector 2. Not sure who that is. That'll be Charlie in the Ferrari, who has gone round and has continued eventually. I think that's his front wing gone missing there, actually. Yeah, his front wing's gone missing, so Charlie will be heading back into the pit lane at the end of lap 1. But Joftis getting off the line very, very well, which is exactly what he needed to do. And Charlie's just gone straight on it. I'm not sure what on earth he's doing, to be honest with you. Just failing to slow down. He's a long way behind anyway. So Joftis leads the field. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the race, remember, as we watch Martin in the slipstream of the Aston Martin of Mano, as Martin looks to try and do the switchback on him. They can't quite do so. Hamster in front of Red Dog as well, so Hamster is in 7th position. He's made up position from where he started. MDG has made up 3 positions. Cameron pulls it up 4. Flix is up 4, but Scotty's down a position as Hamster picks up the first time penalty of the race for track limits. It looks like Charlie has picked up a penalty for corner cutting, and this could be him out of the race, to be honest with you. Yeah, he's out of the race, so Charlie goes no further in this one. We are down to 16. Well, let's say that Stevens made a mistake somewhere, so he's fallen down to 16th position. You can tell by the blue dot that's just going through the back straight. You can tell he's fallen 5 seconds behind Delgy, who's in 15th. So Grimjaw in 3rd place. Losing ground at the moment on Rabico and Droftus, so he needs to do everything he can to stay in the hunt for the title. As Rabico runs well wide there on the exit of turn 19. Hopefully you hadn't exceeded the track limits. And now the DRS has been enabled. The next time the drivers will be using it will be on the back straight in between turns 11 and 12. Hamster in 7th position behind Martin, closing in them at the moment, but there's going to be a DRS train being formed once they do get onto the back straight. Grimjaw is the man in front of that DRS queue at the moment. Oh, and Rabico spun! Rabico in the Rebel caught the curb at turn 9. He's reset to the track. That's against the rules. So he's gone around again, hits the wall, and yeah, that tells you everything. And he's reset to track once more, so that's twice he's done that. So Rabico will be under investigation by the stewards for resetting to the track twice. That is forbidden within the CDR, not allowed to do it at all. As MDG gets in front of Hamster for 7th place. Hamster looking to fight back on the inside of the Haas. Thought about a move, but wisely slotted back in. Otherwise, those two most certainly would have been making contact. So, Rabico's mistake has allowed Grimjaw into 2nd position. 2.5 seconds off the race lead now of Droftus, who's pulling further and further clear of the rest. And Sociopath gets in front of Hamster as Martin picks up a penalty now for track limits. And just watch Calvin as he's got the DRS now behind Grimjaw. Will Calvin go for it into turn 1? The answer is no. As Hamster makes his way into the pit lanes. He got damage to his car. It looks like he has, to be honest with you. Yeah, front wings damage there on the Ferrari. Another set of soft tyres go on. Rabico also in the pits for Red Bull. So he's got a lot of work to do from there now. Too much work to do, if I'm honest with you. So we'll have to hope for a safety car later on. So Calvin behind Grimjaw in the battle for P2. Grimjaw is just going to be so vulnerable. As Calvin, with DRS, gets into the slipstream, pulls alongside, and he'll go up into 2nd place. Mano will get through as well because he's got the DRS. So Grimjaw has lost 2 positions in one swoop on that back straight there. Martin's the next one behind. But now Calvin is ahead of this DRS queue. Mano making contact with the Alpine there. He needs to keep it clean. As the field filter through turn 19. Mano runs a little bit wide there, which will allow Grimjaw to get back through as Red Dog receives a penalty for track limits. And Red Dog losing the place almost to Martin there. And Martin going to the left of the AlphaTauri rather than the right, of which Red Dog thought at first. Mano gets through into 2nd place on Calvin as the 2 bang wheels. So Mano is now ahead of this queue. And Red Dog and MDG go toe-to-toe. Hamster picks up another penalty for... Well, he picks up a penalty now for track limits. Mano's going to be so vulnerable, though, to Calvin behind. And I think, whilst Calvin's tyres may be coming into their window, those on the softs will be very much beginning to fade away now. There's the Aston Martin and the Alpine head through. Exiting turn 11. Calvin opens the DRS. Can he get alongside the Aston Martin? The answer to that question is yes, and this should be him moving up into second place. Covers his line well. Very clever driving there from Calvin. And puts his Alpine through and into second position. There's Mano. Martin in fourth position now because Grimjaw's behind him, actually. So Grimjaw's lost another position on this lap. And Poulter now with a penalty for track limits. 3 seconds it is. And I think Mano will get Calvin back here on the inside unless he decides to wait for the back straight to get the move done. Well, he's using the DRS now as well as some of his ERS. Mano will break to that later than the Alpine. Mano gets the switch back. Calvin suffered a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. Mano can't quite get in front. Now, these two have had their own ding-dong battles in Sochi, if you remember. So Mano looks to remain in touch with Calvin. And Martin behind the Aston Martin. Got better drive coming out of turn 11 than Mano did. Martin goes to the inside. Can he brave it out on the brakes over Mano? Leaves him enough space. Martin will go to the outside for turn 13. The Aston Martin is still there. Martin has to accept defeat on this occasion. But he's going for it at turn 15 though. Has he got through yet? The answer's no. Mano's still in front. But all of this is allowing Calvin to pull further and further away from these guys. Martin approaching Mano, who's ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. So, Mano, the first of the leaders to come in for a scheduled pit stop. Going on to another set of these soft compounds, and out he goes. Jay Hartnell also in for Alfa Romeo. Mediums are going to go on. And Stephen's car at the moment is controlled by the AI, so I don't know whether he's lost connection or something. So MDG behind Grimjaw in the battle for fourth position. DRS will open on the Haas, and this will see him pull alongside and go through. And Mano's out of the race. Mano's crashed out on the exit of turn 9, and we've got a safety car now. Mano's binned it on the exit there. So first lap, after he made his stop, loses it, just like Rabico did earlier on, except his car ends up being terminally damaged, and that is his US Grand Prix over. And this is good news for Rabico now, because he's back in the action. Mano goes no further, and that's a big shame, because he could have been in the frame for a podium finish. Now, Droftus has not pitted in yet, but he's going to do so here now. Hits the bollard on the way through as well, which is not particularly the most ideal thing to do. Calvin also heading in. What tyres is he going to put on, though? That's the next question. So Droftus will keep hold of the lead, I believe. And I've just seen MDG's gone on a set of hards, so could he go to the end of the race on those? It's very much possible. but he's not going to have as much grip as the likes of all the others around him. Delgy's also gone on a set of the hard compounds. And Hamster in for his second stop. What tyres is he going to go on? Mediums. Rabico goes through. So the safety car has picked up the leader. And this throws Rabico right back in the frame here now. So as it stands with the championship as it is, Scotty would not clinch it here. At the moment, it would see his lead being decreased, with MDG up in 4th place at the moment. I wonder if Rabico will duck into the pits at the end of this lap for another set of tyres. He decides not to. So your top 10 under the safety car. Droftus leads ahead of Calvin and Martin. MDG up in 4th place ahead of Grimjaw and Red Dog. Poulter and Flix are next behind with Sociopath and Jay Hartnell. Scotty, the championship leader, is in 11th place. And from what I've seen on Droftus's message on the live chat, saying that rain is expected at 30 minutes of the race. So considering we've had about 15 minutes of the race so far, intermediate tyres could well be beckoning in the closing stages. So those on the soft compound will be hoping that the rain comes sooner rather than later, but given that it's sunshine at the moment, it looks doubtful it's going to be arriving in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. Race control do confirm now, I believe. It does so. So Droftus will dictate the pace, allow the safety car to pull it, and he will go when there is a big enough gap. There leaves for the safety car to peel into the pit lane. So we are expecting rain in the next 15 minutes. Do not go anywhere. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, so Droftus will have the opportunity to bridge out that crucial 1 second gap before the DRS gets enabled on the beginning of lap 12. So Droftus exits the final corner, and he is in the lead still. Calvin in 2nd place. Just look to see if there's any drivers going for a move at the moment. We can see Poulter pulling alongside Red Dog in the AlphaTauri. Two go side by side up the gradient. Poulter to the inside, takes to the curb. Red Dog leaves him enough space, and the Aston Martin's through. So a nice move there from Poulter on the restart. Flicks also fancying the go in the Mercedes. Calvin picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, so that's a bad dent in his pursuit for the race victory. So we can see the cars make their way through turn 10, and now the sharp left-hander of 11. And Rabico getting past Dalgy there. He's also tussling with Hamster, so Rabico fighting back here after that disastrous start to the race for him. And Droftus with the fastest lap of the race so far. Flix has picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits now. So MDG goes through. Oh, Droftus is out! Droftus has crashed out on the exit of turn 2! I don't believe it! What a disaster! For the runaway leader, it looks like he was going to have it in the bag, has lost it on the exit of turn 2. I don't know whether he came together with someone or he lost it over the curb, but Droftus, from pole position, dominated the race. He's out of the US Grand Prix. So that hands the lead to Calvin now, who has a lead of over 1.5 seconds, with Martin second and MDG in third place. So Calvin in the lead now. And there's MDG, who's done brilliantly from towards the back of the field to get himself up into the top 3 now. Just got confirmation from Droftus saying that he lost it by himself and took too much curb. Oh, and Poulter nearly losing it there, and he nearly joined Droftus on the sidelines there. And Red Dog wants to get back ahead of him, this time for 5th position. So Rabico is in 12th position behind Hamster. Rabico on more worn mediums than the rest who are on the mediums. And there's MDG, who will have the DRS behind Martin when they get onto the back straight. And MDG will have the DRS to close in on the Alfa Romeo. I don't think we're going to see a move on this occasion. There is Sociopath tussling with Scotty, who has just gone past the Red Bull, so Scotty starting to make up some ground now. And Martin, the latest to be penalised in the Alfa Romeo, 3 seconds it is for him. There's Grimjaw in 4th position behind MDG. And Hamster passes Hartnell for 10th position. So Calvin in the race lead. MDG will want to get the move on here. Having said that, he is on the hard compound, so whilst he may not be on the best compound now out of everyone, he will fall into his path later on when the mediums start to fall away. And Rabico has passed Jay Hartnell for 11th, so Hartnell losing yet another position. Rabico fighting back. So Calvin's on 3 seconds, Martin, Polster on 6 seconds, Red Dog and Flicks are on 3, Hamster's on 9. So MDG opens the rear wing. Calvin's lead is still just over 2 seconds. Oh, and Martin runs wide there, caught the curb, went too far out wide. He's able to hold off MDG, but deservedly so. He's picked up a time penalty for cutting the track. MDG getting really frustrated behind him now, but surely this is his opportunity to dispose of him with the use of the DRS. We're now on lap 14, we're at the halfway point of this race. MDG gets the DRS open, and he should pull alongside that Alfa Romeo, and he goes through no problem. So MDG goes past and up into P2. Grimjaw in 4th position behind Martin. Can MDG go past Kelvin? I'm just looking to see if MDG has already won a race this season. We know he's running 2nd in the championship. He won at Monza, did MDG, albeit retrospectively. MDG holding off Martin as Cameron now gets a penalty for track limits. I think that's his 2nd one of the race, isn't it? It's his 3rd one, in fact, so MDG looking to pull away from Martin now, but the only problem he's got is that Martin will have the DRS, unlike he will. Let's see if he can pull away as much as he can, but I don't think he'll stand a chance in fending this one off. The DRS is just too effective. MDG holds his line and keeps hold of 2nd place. And Rabico has passed his teammate Sosipar for 8th position. So Rabico coming back on form at the moment. His mediums will be starting to fall away as Scotty's softs are pretty much in there. Well, they're pretty much hitting the cliff at the moment. I wonder if he'll decide to pit in this lap and get another set of mediums on, perhaps. Doesn't go into the pits at the end of this lap. Martin's got another penalty now. 12 seconds he's on. He's going to be dropping back at the end of this race, no question. And flicks into the pit lane for Mercedes. Now, he's only been on the mediums for over 7 laps. Is there a new front wing going on? He's out of the race anyway, so Flicks retires from the US Grand Prix. And now the clouds are very much starting to drop over here, and I think we're going to start to see some raindrops coming onto the racetrack. How long will it be until the track becomes greasy and wet to the point which intermediates are needed? That's another thing. So we're down to 13 runners. Technically 12 as Stephen's car is controlled by the AI. Is there anyone going for a move at the moment? Not right now. Calvin's lead is over 4 seconds, but he's got a time penalty of 3 seconds, which would not currently see him lose the race victory. As MDG starts closing in on him a little bit now. Comes to pass as Ravico as well. I think the rain is starting to come down. Can't see it hitting the halos at the moment. You can see Hamster moving in front of Scotty here, so Scotty's tyres must surely be there. But oh, contact there nearly between the Ferrari and the McLaren. That could have ended in tears. The Ferrari's through at last. So there's Rabico, who's on very much worn mediums as well. He must surely be thinking about coming in for a pit stop. He may decide to wait until the rain intervenes, and then that saves him having to do an extra pit stop. Oh, someone's had a moment in sector 3. Who is that? Oh, that's an incident. Grimjaw and Poulter have come together on the exit of the last turn. Remarkably, both have kept going. Cameron's into the pits now. Saves him having to go all the way round. Will he decide to call it quits, or will he keep going? I'm not 100% sure. Well, Dalgy's coming in for a pit stop now. And it's a new front wing going on. And intermediate tyres. So he's preempting the weather at the moment. There we go, look, the rain has started to fall. And it's not quite time for the intermediates, I don't think, but it's heading that way. As MDG has closed the gap now to under 3 seconds. The DRS is still enabled at the moment, so Robico is still able to use it. As he closes in on Scotty in the battle for 6th place now. Grimshaw down to 10th place off that, coming together with the Aston Martin of Poulter. So Rabico in the Red Bull. Dalgy's times won't be anywhere near as quick as what those on the slicks are doing at the moment. Calvin just needs to make sure he keeps his car on the track. And there's Red Dog in 4th place. He'll be desperate for the rain to intense more and more and more so that he'll be in the pits before the softs decide to delaminate. And Cdr S has run out actually as Red Dogs. And Sociopath is closing on Rabico at the moment. He's still behind Scotty. Rabico runs wide. Sociopath isn't able to take advantage and waits behind. So Calvin remains out there in the Alpine with 9 laps to go. Looking very, very good for the victory now. The DRS is still enabled. And Sociopath decides to come into the pits. Now I would think this is going to be for the intermediates. We'll rejoin with some clear track ahead of him. Has he gone too soon, I wonder though? So Kelvin in the race lead still. And Red Dog has been overtaken by Hamster as well, so Red Dog may have to just gamble at the end of this lap and just get the intermediates on. And see how much time he's losing by getting the power down, coming out of the corners. Is that Dalgy who's just gone for a spin? It is, and the intermediates as well, so that'll see him lose a position probably to the Alpine of Stephen in the AI. And there's Rabico still going after Scotty. If I was Scotty, I'd probably just come into the pits and get another set of... We'll get a set of intermediates on. Well, Calvin has decided to remain out there for another lap. Well, Red Dog decides to carry on. And Scotty's dropping back like a stone at the moment now. He still doesn't go in. I'm actually surprised that Scotty hasn't decided to gamble getting the intermediates on. And Sociopath at the moment is actually losing ground to Grimjob looking at the time, so maybe the slicks are the better ones to be on. I think by the end of this lap, they'll want to be on intermediates. And Scotty now with a time penalty of 3 seconds for track limits. And there's Dalgy there, dropping back all the time. I think his car is it controlled by the AI at the moment? No, he's still controlling it. But he's losing a lot of time on the intermediates actually, and he's going to be lapped by the leaders now. You can see the raindrops, you can see though the track is just becoming more and more greasy by the second. Calvin coming up to lap his teammate, Stephen. And there's Hamster there. And Red Dog decides the time is right to go on to the intermediates. Unsurprisingly, Scotty doing the same. And Grimjaw will have to wait behind his teammate. Doesn't lose too much time actually, does Grimjaw. So Red Dog now out on the intermediates. We're very much at that crossover point now, so The top four, who are all on the slicks, need to think about coming in at the end of this lap for the intermediates now. They could well be on the right tyres, to be honest with you. Now Kelvin will be aware that Red Dog has gone on to the intermediates. The pace he's setting at the moment is not as quick, and so that he may be starting to pick up the pace now. You see bits of standing water is beginning to form. And someone's gone off. Is that Scotty in the McLaren that's gone round? It is. And he's going to lose positions to Sociopath and Grimjaw as a result of that. Well, Kelvin stays out. MDG comes in. Martin and Hamster, I believe, are going to be coming in. They are. So Kelvin gambles for another lap on slicks. And it looks like someone else has gone for a spin. Is that Scotty again? It is. So he's struggling in these conditions, is the championship leader, as MDG rejoins in second place, still ahead of Martin. Hamster will retain his fourth place. And Grimjaw's gone for a spin now in the other McLaren. Now Kelvin will probably want to be coming in at the end of this lap, because otherwise he's going to lose too much time with MDG closing in on him. And Rabico's out of the race. He's crashed out. He's done exactly the same thing as what Drofters did earlier, and that has brought up the safety car. That has very much come to Kelvin's rescue, because had it not been for that, he would have lost the race lead to MDG. So we've got our second safety car of the race. And we're going to be in for quite a finale to the race now. But everyone needs to make sure they do adhere to the safety car delta. And this is bad news for Martin as well, actually, because he's got a 15-second time penalty. And all of them have been for track limits, which means he cannot take that at a pit stop. So Kelvin into the pit lane now. Dalge is coming in for a pit stop. I don't understand why he's done that, because he's still going to end up a lap down on the leaders. He should have just stayed out there for another lap, and he would have been back on the lead lap. So I don't understand why he's done this. So we've got 5 laps to go here currently. I think we're going to be around for another lap after this one. But Kelvin's in the race lead. MDG is second. Martin third. Hamster fourth. Red Dog fifth. Jay Hartnell sixth. Sociopath seventh. Grimjaw eighth. Scotty ninth. And Poulter in 10th. I've just realised that Kelvin has a time penalty of 3 seconds. MDG does not have a penalty at all. So this is MDG's race to lose, effectively. Now, as it stands with the... if MDG was to win this race, and Scotty finished where he was, that would see the championship cut back down to what I believe is going to be, just look at the championship standings at the moment, it would cut back down to 36 points with 3 races to go. So 5 drivers out of this race. Rabico, Flix, Droftus, Mano and Charlie, the ones that haven't gone any further in this one. So Calvin will need to get the best of restarts here. MDG knows he's got a chance of winning here. Jay Hartnell has the chance of finishing on the podium. Might end up having a 2-lap shootout here because Pulsar is just going through turn 11, may not catch up to the field in time before the safety car does end up going in at the end of this lap. So I think that the safety car lights are going to remain on. And the safety car is going to remain out there, so we are going to be in for a 2-lap shootout to the finish of this race. Calvin waiting patiently for the safety car to go back, and it will go in at the end of this lap. Now, with the rain continuing to come down, I doubt that it's going to be intense enough for the full wet. And Dalgy has gone out of the race. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Has he crashed out? I think he may well have done. So Dalgy, his terrible race has just got even worse, and he's gone out of the Grand Prix by the looks of it. So that takes us down to 11 runners, although 10 because of Stephen being controlled by the AI. So Calvin leads still at the moment. Both Mercedes drivers out of the Grand Prix now. And the safety car is in at the end of this lap. So Calvin dictates the pace. And he'll set off when is the best time for him to do so. He's waiting until the very last moment here before he gets his foot down. Here we go then for the penultimate lap. 2 laps to the finish. And it looks like someone has nearly gone into the wall there. Driver's trying to get intermediates. As we watch Hamster make a move on Martin, who gets another penalty for track limits, so that sees him drop back. Grimjaw also with a penalty, so that'll make Sociopath and Jay Hartnell's life easier. Hamster trying to get in front of Martin here. To the inside he goes, the 2 bang wheels. They continue to bang wheels. Hamster's still there. Martin goes out wide. No, does Hamster go to the inside? Oh, that was very nearly contact there. Late on the brakes. Hamster can't quite get the car slowed down in time, and Martin's back through again. Hamster will get into the slipstream here and use the ERS for all he can. Can he break that later than the Alfa Romeo though? The answer is yes. And that's a position change on the road. Hamster is through and up to 3rd on the road. Now he just needs to pull away from the others to minimise the damage that he has. As it stands with the penalties applied. Oh, he's going to fall down heavily, isn't he? He could fall down as low as 9th place maybe. We've still got 1 more lap to go, so he needs to get on with it really. But Calvin is now about to start the last lap of this race. As it stands, MDG will take the victory once the penalties do end up being applied. Poulter's now got 12 seconds of time penalty. He'll fall down to 10th, I think, unless Martin's penalty is enough to send him down to 10th anyway. But the rain's coming down more and more and more, making conditions more and more tricky, but these are still intermediate conditions. Sociopath looking good for a podium. I'll say that. Jay Hartnell will be going to 3rd place on the podium. Calvin will drop to 2nd. And now Hamster's being penalised for track limits, and Poulter's gone round in the Aston Martin, so he's fallen down to 10th place. And that's where he'll remain by the end of the race. So MDG still within 3 seconds of Calvin. So Calvin, unfortunately the 3-second time penalty is going to deprive him of the victory, which will see MDG on top for the 2nd time this season, and more importantly, close in on Scotty in the battle for the championship. Calvin going through the penultimate corner for the last time, into the last corner for the last time. It's going to take victory on the road, but it's the race victory on merit for MDG here in Austin. MDG wins the US Grand Prix. Calvin finishes 2nd. Jay Hartnell goes to the podium in 3rd. Sociopath 4th. Grimjaw 5th. Hamster 6th. Red Dog 7th. And it looks as though that Martin may have ended up 8th after all that, but we'll run through the classification very, very shortly. MDG, rightly so as well, gets the driver of the day after starting outside the top 10. So The race result sees MDG coming out on top with Kelvin second, Jay Hartnell third, Sociopath fourth, Grimjaw fifth, Hamster sixth, Scotty seventh, Red Dog eighth, Martin ninth, and Polter crashed out on the last lap. He is 10th. Stephen was 11th, but his car was controlled by the AI, so I'm not sure if that will stand. Delgi, Rabico, Flix, Droftis, Mano, and Charlie were the drivers that did not finish the race. So as it is in the championship, Scotty Gain, at the moment, according to my maths, or in terms of the point system, he will get 9 points for finishing 7th. MTG gains 25 for the race victory, which sees Scotty's lead in the title battle being decreased to 38 points with 3 rounds to go. The first of those being in Portimao in Portugal. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we can't wait to do it all again. Same time next week in 7 days' time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.